Hello, my friend. Today I want to talk about suffering and how to eliminate some thoughts that I have the last couple of days that I've processed, certain coaching sessions that I had where different forms of suffering occurred, and over the years I came up with I call them the KG Fit mindset rules that assist me. My family, the close ones, and my clients to eliminate suffering, discomfort, and to go through life in a probably more stoic way and learn how to process or disengage from certain thoughts. And today I want to talk about suffering. And one thing that I realized is very often the higher somebody's IQ, the more there's of a likelihood for people to suffer because there are different reasons why it is, but we tend to intellectualize our suffering. We tend to argue for it and come up with reasons why we suffer, why life is uncomfortable. And first of all, there's a great book. Some of you might have heard about it from Viktor Frankl, Man's Search of Meaning, that can help you here to get a little bit more of an insight. Ultimately, it is how we perceive the world around us and what we make out of situations, how we want to process information. We can decide that a situation is unfair and hold on with our ego to that situation, or we can let go of it. I call it the monkey trap, where we're holding on with our perception of something, how it should be or should not be, and we have the right to do that, but it creates suffering. And how very often when I work with clients, the reasons why we suffer or somebody suffers, it usually makes sense because we spend a lot of time holding on to it and creating a scenario that makes sense. But ultimately you have to decide, do you want to be right or wrong in your life, or do you want to let go of situations and create a pleasant place in your mind, right? Sadhguru talks about if you're suffering in your mind, and if you're by yourself and you're suffering, you're in bad company. And it's true, it's our job to learn the mindset rules or rules that assist us to enjoy life and to maneuver through life, even if there are indeed very challenging situations and unfair situations that might occur. Loved ones might die, or something happens to your health, or whatever it might be. But we always can decide how we want to react to this specific situation, right? And ultimately, the principles are very simple. For one, just looking at neutral thinking, looking at life, at situation, what it is, and understanding that everything in life happens for us, not to us. Everything happens for us. And when we do that, so from a scientific standpoint, you could say, when I say something challenging or bad happens to me and I reframe it right away, so I don't want the amygdala to charge the limbic system, I acknowledge the challenge and I said life is happening for me to grow, to improve, to learn. I'm creating the dopamine within the task. So I'm asking, how can I grow from this? What is life teaching me in this situation? And who am I becoming when I overcome this challenge? Yeah? So remember, whatever happens in life, and you might be going through very challenging situations. I'm not diminishing that, but it's still up to you how you want to react. We can either become a victim of a situation, or we can lean forward into a challenge and by doing that, we also have some form of control. Even if there are components that are out of our control. This is where we come into me business, his, her business, or his business. So me business is something where you want to be. What can I control? What can I contribute to change the situation in a positive direction? And that's the only thing you can do and should be doing, focusing on. If you're getting into his or her business, or somebody else's, your assumption of, oh, that person is doing something that he should or should not be doing. It's not your business, right? That's another entity. You don't have control. You can suggest something, you can communicate, but ultimately any other person is their business and that has nothing to do with you. You have to let them be, while you can motivate them or while you can communicate why it might be better. But if we get into somebody else's business, suffering starts. So what I do when I realize that, and sometimes it happens to me, I do a timeout. I said, like, this is not my business. I'm in his or her business, and I let go of it. What can I do to change? I can change my perception, how I perceive the situation right now. And then his business would be God, universe. So these are, when we talk about economy or the weather or whatever it might be, certain things that are completely out of our hands. So we can suffer from it, or we can just neutrally look at it, whatever is. If there's a war, it is terrible, yes, but we can let our mind go there and continue with those unhealthy emotions. Another thing that happens when our emotions are strong, we're losing access to our prefrontal cortex, so we're less effective the way we process information. So always stay in me business. What can I do in this situation? And everything else, you learn to let go. You learn to let go. All right, take care, my friend.